My name is Gregoire Akcelrod. I am a FIFA Football Agent since 10 years. And today I want to talk about soft power on football. I work with so many countries. I work in China, I work in India. I did a deal of Bakary Koné in Kerala Blaster. It was a big deal for India. Last summer I was with Al Ahly in Saudi. So I see myself from inside how Saudi develop their image through football. So football is simple. Football is number one sport in the world. Rugby is good also, but we cannot compare. For me, in terms of media, in terms of fans, it's incredible. After soft power, what is it? Is how to be different, how to communicate, how to change the image. And I see through Saudi, who start from low level. And now, all the young generation, they want to play in Saudi. Same if they don't know very much this. So this is me with my player in Parma. So I work in the men football during 10 years. My biggest player was Aurélien Tchouameni, who signed for 100 million for Monaco to Real Madrid, who was the biggest deal in the world 2 years ago. I work with a lot of clubs, etc., etc. But I arrived by surprise in the women football, and I think it's very interesting in terms of values. Now, if you want to understand football, you have to have the statistic of the final of the World Cup. More than 1.5 billion people watch one game. 1.5 billion. Okay. So, and it's people who pay to watch. Maybe some people, they do on internet. And I think it's more maybe 2 billion. Plus all the media after, all the television, etc., etc. Alors, about soft power in football is not new. US and many big countries are trying to be big in football to influence the world. Pelé signed in New York Cosmos in 1975. After, I will give you a quick list. Thank you. After, you have Japan, South Korea, who organize the World Cup. You have David Beckham, who again go to US to change the soccer, like Hervé say there. China did this in 2012 with Didier Drogba on Anelka. India in 2014 with Anelka. Russia won the World Cup. Qatar the World Cup. And Saudi signing of Ronaldo. So it's global. And it's very interesting. Russia, Qatar, Saudi, China, India, all the big countries want to be inside. But the concurrence is crazy, massive inside men football. So this is me with Firmino. I don't know, he was big star in Liverpool for 8 years. And he signed in Saudi. Amazing man, very interesting. Big player, big man. So why Saudi sign football players? Me, when I arrived with the Saudi club, I think that they like football. I think, the new prince, he likes football. So he invests in football. But he likes football, but he doesn't really care too much about football. What he wants to do, he wants to develop tourism. Who finance Saudi League? Tourism authority. It's not Minister of Sport. So what they think? If we bring football star, we will have media. If we have media, we have fans coming to the game. And we want to have 150 million people coming to Saudi. And it's working. It's because when you have a game of Cristiano Ronaldo, so many fans from Portugal, from Madrid, etc., come to watch. So the way is to change the image and to bring more tourists. Of course, what they want is to reduce all revenue, etc., etc. But just to tell you, from the base is tourism authority who manage this. Women football. I promote Parma today on Basel. So we can see a big difference in football since the last years. We have a lot of professional league in Europe coming. What was not the case a few years ago. After we have 3,500 women who play professional football also in Europe. There is a World Cup last year in Australia and New Zealand. More than 30,000 fans. When it was in France in 2019, it was more 20,000 fans. So it's grow step by step. Also generate 500 million revenue, which is the second biggest event for revenue in the world after the men World Cup, who generate 7 billion. So the gap is big, but step by step, and I believe the men football will go down for many reasons. First, because the player, most of them, they don't have the good values, they don't show the right example. Everything is fake. In Paris Saint-Germain, we have a good example. I don't want to say name, but the man, he has zero humility. He thinks he saves the world, but he's just a football player. Stay simple. But there is a big difference between football star and the fan. And when you listen some football player like Mbappé, you listen politician. I don't listen sportman. The man is like, he repeats his speech game after game, and it's crazy boring, and nobody watch. And if you see the stat on YouTube, nobody care about this generation of football player. Nobody watch. After, there is now the new FIFA World Cup for clubs coming in 2026. They just announced this 2 weeks ago. So it means the change is massive. And if a country wants to invest now in the women's football and become the #1 in the world, it means his club can compete against the best in America, best in Europe, best in Africa, best in Asia. So this is good development. For the attendance, they think we will have more than 300 million fans in the next years about women's football. 1 on 3 fans are new. So we have a new population coming to women's football, most of the men, for example. And 57% of women's football didn't follow women's football before. And when you see for men, it's only 13%. So development in women's football is very important. I think it's the future of football. I will explain why. This is political. It's very important for politicians to have a good image. They are here only for the image. To be concrete is another thing. So when they promote gender equality, a man has the same value than a man. A football man has the right to play like a woman who has the right to play. This is amazing for the image. After, for the young generation, if you promote football, the young generation want to copy the star. So they say, Ronaldo is playing, and in Saudi, so many kids come to the football club to play. So you help them to develop their health, and to be in better form. And in Qatar start to invest in football only to help the young generation, who are a little bit fat, to become more fit. So how to become #1? Now, with a very small budget, you can become #1 in the world. Why? Because in terms of finance, if you bring a big star from Europe, you have to pay 50 million a year in salary. If you bring a woman star, the big star, biggest star in Europe, will be 500,000 a year. So the budget, if you invest €1 for the woman, you have to invest 100 times for the men. Thank you. Also, it's good for the image. You will be the first country to help women and to develop women football. What is great because 50% of the population is women. After, it's good to help all the young woman generation to achieve the dream. And you can change the country, the image of the country also, like Saudi did in very few months. It's incredible, really. In terms of business, you can sell the TV right all over the world because it's popular, and also some TV are interesting about promoting women football. You can sign new sponsorship. I just give you an example. The biggest salary revenue in Europe is 500,000 for a player of Paris Saint-Germain. If you go to US for soccer, football, you have Alex Morgan. The salary of Alex Morgan with her club in US, with the biggest star, is 200,000 euros. So it's less than Europe. But she has a contract, or money contract, of sponsorship more than 6.5 million euros per year. So in fact, she has almost 7 million revenue. In France, we have 500,000 with almost zero revenue in sponsorship. So if you bring Alex Morgan to China, India, and she brings all the sponsors with her, it will be a very good business for the club also. And after, you can develop the tourism. Well, thank you very much.